Hey there, I'm Julie, Fei-Fan Balzer. I'm a painter, a printmaker, and a collage artist living and working outside of Boston, and welcome to my art studio. So this week I just got back from teaching a one-day class at the Monastery Gallery of Art in Hartford, Connecticut. And it was fantastic. It was so much fun. It's been a while since I've taught a class outside of my own home studio. So packing supplies and all the stuff that comes with that and like traveling. And at first I was kind of grumpy about it, but I am so glad that I did it. I think that the pandemic plus having a baby and having them happen at the same time has really made me a homebody in a way that I never was. And I came back from the trip and I said to my husband, like, I forgot how much I love to travel and see people and go places and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, it was a great experience. And in today's video, I just want to share two things that I'm taking away from the class that I thought might be useful to you too. Okay, so number one, and I did write them down on the back of a beautiful piece of paper. Okay, so number one is embrace imperfection. Now, I mean, this should be fairly obvious. A lot of my life, my art, everything is about embracing imperfection. But I'll say, like, the title of this class was Funny Faces. And that's exactly what it was meant to be. Not to be beautiful, not to be perfect, not to be pleasing, but to be faces that had personality and quirk and something interesting to them. And one of the things that the students talked about, as we wrapped up and throughout class was about how much they enjoyed having the freedom to not have to make things pretty. And not only that, but I thought that the artwork that they did was so strong and so good because it had their own like force of personality in it. And I mean, in general, this is not a new concept. Throughout history, throughout multiple cultures, there's been a lot of discussion of embracing imperfections and all the important things about that. Let's use a metaphor. So sometimes street performers, acrobats, all those kind of people, they will intentionally make a mistake. Like a juggler might drop a ball and it looks like it's on accident or by accident, but it's actually on purpose. And the reason they do this is so that you understand that the trick they're doing is hard, so that you have some sense that it isn't easy. Because the fact is, most of them could probably do everything they do flawlessly, but it's just, that's not impressive, right? If they look like they're in pain, if they look like they're struggling, if they're wavering under it, if they drop a ball, if it comes real close, then you see the difficulty and you appreciate it more. So, I mean, I think art is actually very much the same way. If you see something and it looks like it was made by a machine, it's hard to see how much time and effort and work went into it, even though obviously tons and tons and tons and tons did. But if you see like the imperfections, the offset, the handwork, the smudge, the crack, whatever it is, it's like you get the sense of a human being having been there and done something to it, and it makes it more impressive somehow. So I think like imperfection is not just an important mindset and way of life, but it's also an important idea that you can take into your art making, knowing that it will make your art look even better. I recently heard an artist on Instagram say that she actually adds a little bit of dimensional paint to her work after it's finished because clients like it because it makes it look more real. And I thought that's fascinating. That is, again, them wanting that sense of the paint not being perfectly flat, like a print, that there's something about it that's more hand involved. So just a thought. Number two on my very important list here is the importance of community. Now, I hinted at this in the introduction to this video. I was not the only one who said, wow, I love being in an in-person class. Wow, I love being with other people. Wow, this has been such a great day. And it really is like the community of other people is a necessary part of art for me. Having the enjoyment, the back and forth, the side conversations. I am very much a side quest person. And so it was so great to be able to have like little chats with people about themselves, about their work, being able to look and see what people were doing that I could adjust. I mean, Zoom does a great job, don't get me wrong, about being able to actually interact with your students. Even some online things, you can get that same feeling, but there's nothing like in person where you can really, dig into what's happening. And, I often feel also the online classes for me as an instructor tend to be a little performative. I feel it necessary to entertain, to, like talk for 2 or 3 hours straight because you don't want people just staring at a dead screen, right? And it's important to me that my classes are fun, but that I can still make them fun in person without having to like dance for 3 hours. So it's a less exhausting experience for me, but I think it's as rewarding for the students. So that was a really good and big takeaway as well. If you can make it to an in-person class, to some sort of get together, I mean, quilting bees exist for a reason, right? I think it's so important to find community, and online communities can be great too. So if you belong to a message board or anything else, that's a great way to find people who think like you. Okay, I said there were 2 things, but there's actually a third thing on my list, which is, first of all, the people at the Monastery Gallery of Art were so nice and so kind, and very welcoming and all that kind of stuff. And it was great. And they invited me back to teach. So in 2025, I'm going to be teaching a multi-day class. So it's going to start on April 6th, and I think it's going to be 4 days. It's like 2 full days and then 2 half days on each end, so that you can travel on the day, right, that you're taking the class. So like, I think it's like the class is Sunday sort of evening, all day Monday, all day Tuesday, and then Wednesday until noon. So you could travel right in and out. Anyway, it turns out the Monastery Gallery of Art is situated beautifully on 50 acres of gorgeous land. They have a labyrinth, they have statues, they have all sorts of stuff. I didn't even begin to explore it on my lunch hour during class. But I am going to teach a class that's something along the lines of, I'm working it out still, called like Inspired by Nature. And it's going to be spending part of the time sketching, and I use the term loosely, so if you think you can't draw, don't worry about it. That's going to be part of class. So like, let's say filtering raw data from nature and then turning that, when we go back inside to work, into artwork, that expresses who you are and all that good stuff. So I'm really excited about that and to develop that class. So overall, it was a totally fantastic experience. I'm excited to be going back. I hope to see you in an in-person class. I do have an in-person class here in my home studio coming up in June. So you can check that out at juliebalzer.com. Or maybe I'll see you in Hartford, Connecticut in April of 2025. So be sure to sign up for my free Friday newsletter. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Write all of your notes on the back of a beautiful piece of scrap paper, and I hope you have a great week.